Let's be honest, our digital world is getting really weird, right? We're all seeing this flood of just bizarre, low quality, and sometimes completely nonsensical content that's taking over our feeds. So today, we're going to break down what this digital junk is, why it's suddenly everywhere, and most importantly, how to actually navigate this strange new internet. I mean, you've definitely seen it. Maybe it was one of those wild images of Jesus made entirely out of shrimp. Or maybe you saw the ads for that Willy Wonka event in Scotland that turned out to be, well, just a sad, empty warehouse. You're just scrolling and you stop and think, what am I even looking at right now? Well, you're not alone, and there's actually a name for all this stuff. It's called AI Slop. And really, the best way to think about it is like digital junk food. It's content that's being churned out in massive quantities using generative AI, but it has zero substance. It lacks quality, real human effort, or any kind of meaning. It's basically the new spam, and it's designed for one thing and one thing only, to get you to click. And this slop is, well, it's absolutely everywhere. On social media, you get the fake historical photos and those bizarre image mashups. In advertising, it's how you end up with disasters like the Willie's chocolate experience. But it goes deeper. It's being used for political propaganda, to sell things like seeds for flowers that don't even exist, and even to pump out AI-written books that are falsely using the names of real authors. This is a huge, widespread problem. Okay, so why is this all happening right now? What changed? The answer is that the very engine of the internet, the fundamental way we find and discover information online, has changed. The old rules are out the window, and they're being totally rewritten by AI. To really get what's going on, you have to understand this massive shift. For decades, the entire game was search engine optimization, SEO. The goal was simple: get to number one on Google. Used keywords and backlinks to win clicks, but that era is over. Now we're in the age of generative engine optimization, or GEO. The goal isn't just to be a link on a page anymore, it's to be the answer that the AI gives you. The whole focus has pivoted from winning clicks to being the trusted source that the AI relies on. So, how do these new generative engines even work? Well, when you ask a question, they don't just hunt for keywords like the old search engines did. It's way more complex. The AI actually takes your question, kind of rephrases it, and then searches tons of different sources. Then, it summarizes everything it finds and generates a brand new, unique answer just for you. It's a completely different way of finding information. And, as you might guess, this totally new process gives you dramatically different results, which brings us to a pretty shocking number: just 12%. So what does that 12% actually mean? It means that when an AI spits out an answer and lists its sources, only 12% of those sources are also in the top 10 results of a regular Google search. Let that sink in. That means 88% of the time, the AI is pulling its information from a totally different set of places. Everything we thought we knew about being visible online is basically obsolete. The old rules are gone.
So, in this new world where we're all drowning in AI slop, how do you stand out? How do you make sure that the AI finds your accurate, high-quality information? Well, you have to go on the offensive. It's time to build a fortress.
The new goal is to build what's being called a fortress of facts. See, it's not about climbing a search rankings page anymore. It's about building this deep, authoritative, and fact-based knowledge hub on your own turf, on your website. The point is to become the most reliable source out there, so that when an AI is looking for answers, it comes to you. You become the signal in the noise, the corrective force in a thick fog of misinformation.
And this whole strategy really stands on three key pillars. The first one is inference optimization, which is a fancy way of saying you have to constantly check what AI assistants are telling people about you and jump in to correct any mistakes.
Second, you build that fortress of facts we just talked about. And third is sentiment monitoring. You have to track how the AI is talking about you. Is it framing your product as the best value or as expensive and buggy? You absolutely need to know. And holding all of this up, the foundation for everything is pure technical performance. This is totally non-negotiable now. The AI crawlers that gather all this information are described as being impatient. If your website is slow or if it doesn't hit certain key performance benchmarks, the AI systems will just ignore you. A fast, reliable site is now the absolute price of entry. Without it, you're invisible. But here's the thing, all these tactics are only one piece of the puzzle. They only really work if they're guided by the right philosophy. The technology can't be in the driver's seat. We have to make sure that humans are the ones in charge of the strategy. And this brings us to a concept called human-led AI. It's an operating model where we, the people, keep full ownership of the important stuff: the strategy, the creative judgment, the ethics, the final call. The AI's job is to be an accelerator. It's there to speed up research and production and execution, but it should never, ever be allowed to take the wheel. So let's break down what that really means. Look, an AI is amazing at finding patterns in huge amounts of data, but it's a human who has to decide what those patterns actually mean for the strategy. You can never outsource accountability for fairness and ethics to a machine. That has to stay with people. And yeah, an AI can generate 100 different ad campaigns, but it's a human that provides that final creative judgment and ethical sign-off. The AI is a tool for acceleration, not for leadership. This quote right here just perfectly sums up the entire approach. We should absolutely use AI to do our work faster and at a much bigger scale. But we can never, ever forget that we as humans have to remain responsible for what that work actually means and what its impact is on the world. So the internet has changed. There's no doubt about it. It's filling up with this vast ocean of low-quality AI slop. But as we've talked about, it is possible to build a lighthouse in the middle of all that fog. By understanding these new rules and by putting humans firmly in charge of the strategy, you can cut through the noise. So the final question is really for you. How will you build your fortress of facts?